Hey everybody, we all need a little bit of inspiration in our lives, and so this is the inspiration station for A Day in the Life, which is the next assignment you all are working on. Now I just want to be clear what the idea of this assignment is, and it is to tell the story of a continuous person or action. The example I always use for this is, hey, let's say you were going to do your story on a day in the life of the shuttle drivers, the people who drive the bus shuttles around campus. You could either focus on a single driver throughout the day and what they do before they get to work, at work, and after, or you could follow a couple of different bus drivers around and sort of alternate between people, but still have them doing the same action in the same setting. Really, it's your call. The big picture here is that you are kind of trying to do like a personality style feature story like you would with words, but this time you're trying to do it with photographs instead. So let's look at 3 examples of past student assignments for this that I really, really love. This is example number 1. And this is the day in the life of a catering chef, somebody who's in charge of catering. Here we have him sort of getting his station ready. We've got the catering chef sort of handing out the samples to people. We have a nice close-up detail shot at a very good angle, sort of a quarter angle, of someone who is preparing little pieces of what looks like salmon. I like this as a really good example of depth too. This is shot on a DSLR so that the closer fish is blurrier than the farther away fish. And then finally we get our nice sort of setting of everybody together, the chefs together, prepping meals. I like that the chef to the right has his face partially obscured by the lamp. I like the angles created by the basket on the bottom. Altogether, this is a really cool photo. And to wrap it all up, we have the guy out in the crowd with his tray of little hors d'oeuvres, passing them out to folks. So that was day in the life of a catering chef. Now notice this didn't follow every single chef the whole way through, or have the same chef the whole way through. This was simply telling the story of the catering chefs as a thing at the event. Now let's look at example 2, which is a little less hectic, and it is a day in the life of firefighters. We start with them getting some equipment out of the side of the truck. Now normally, you want to avoid too many back of the head shots, but one thing I like about this one is that there's a little bit of a symmetry with the 3 folks who are facing away. You can see the thing that they are grabbing, so the guy's grabbing the air tank out of the back of the truck, and to the right you get someone who you can actually see their face on. Now we have a shot, again, someone we can clearly identify, shot through the mirror, or on the mirror, of the truck, the fire truck. I really like the way this is framed up too. This is a really creative way of introducing good framing into a story. Now we have the storage room where the folks are getting equipment and materials from. I like the facial expression. I like that it's a different action or a different setting than just people working around the truck itself. Now this is a sort of personless shot, but it's a shot of a locker, and you can clearly see the fire coat, the bunker gear that the firefighters wear hanging up on the wall. Ultimately, I think this is a picture that maybe would be a little better if it had someone in it to the left, but, this is a natural scene setter shot. And then finally, we have our guys sitting at the front of the truck. I like that we can see them sort of their facial expressions in the background. I like that we can see the fire truck to the right that says Estero on it. I think altogether this works to tell a nice day in the life of firefighter story. And then finally, one of my favorite examples, which is example number 3. And this is shot on a smartphone, and it was shot around campus, so it didn't require any fancy equipment or the invite to go to some fancy event. And it is a day in the life of the people who ruin your life. It is a day in the life of the parking enforcement folks around campus. So here we have our parking enforcement office with the desk, the guy who we're going to follow through the rest of the story. We've now got the parking meter. I love the framing in this shot. I love that you can see the car to the left and that you have the picture of the car itself on the little handheld device. I really, really dig this. I think this is a great, clever way to have a nice detail shot in the photo story. Now we have the guy putting the ticket under the car of the window, ruining somebody's day. Compositionally, I kind of wish maybe that the person who was taking this photograph had gotten a little bit lower, had ducked down a little bit and gotten it from a lower angle, but ultimately it works as a part of the storytelling device. Now we have the guy plugging the golf cart that he drives around in into the wall to charge it. I like that you can see parking services on the golf cart to the left. Again, this maybe would have worked just a tad better if it had been from a higher angle as opposed to sort of chest height. And then finally we end up back with him in the office behind the desk. And what I like about this and the order of it is that it goes full circle. We start in the office, we end in the office, and we get the action, sort of the storytelling action along the way that we all know, which is getting a parking ticket, which is a real bummer. All right, so this is Inspiration Station for Day in the Life. I'm going to spend the rest of the day checking out what you pitched, and I will be giving you some feedback on there, and I look forward to seeing what you guys do.